The Jets are not going to be allowed on Monday Night Football anymore. That's it. They're going to go back to remember the flex games when NFL would do flex games and they would move the time and they just tell you, hey, we're going to have a game this Sunday. If you have a ticket, we'll let you know when it is. And that was always the Jets got slipped into the flex time.
Yeah.
We're going to be back there. We'll call you.
Yeah, sure. Let us know.
Oh.
So I think we had a pretty good week. So, well, when I say pretty good week, let's say a pretty,
except for losing a dumb game.
well, except for losing a pretty eventful week, I should say.
Okay, all right, I'll go with you on that.
Yeah.
You want to start with the Monday night game? Let's break that
Yeah.
down. Let's just get the
Let's
bad
do it.
out of the way first.
Let's just get all all the bad stuff.
Do you recall your prediction for the game?
Yeah.
I have it right here.
Nice.
You were Jets winning 26-20. Yeah, the number's close, just to the wrong team.
Yeah, to the wrong team. But just think about that. If if Greg DeLeg and we could all say they shouldn't be in that position. Well, they were.
Right.
And where were you? And he didn't show up.
He should have made those. He should have made at least one of those.
Yeah. Well, and as far as those go, right? I mean, the two lovebirds, right? When it comes to broadcasting, right? We call them my house. It's the lovebirds, right? Because you got Joe Buck and Troy Aikman when they talk. Every time we see them, all we can envision now is they just gaze into each other's eyes. It's a love fest, right? So
we're not going to besmirch Troy Aikman and any of that. So
no, I get it. I'm talking to the Dallas guy. I get it. But still, you got to hear my son. Oh, great. We got the lovebirds. So the lovebirds, they were making this wind swirling sound like, the revisit of Hurricane Helene. Okay.
It didn't look like the little tassels on the end of the goalpost didn't look like they were moving that much.
No, I don't know, but they were straight down. Okay. And
that's an
I'm
indicator
like,
of not moving much, I think. Yeah.
So, and I'm like, okay, he missed it. I don't just yes, the Meadowlands, swirling winds. It's always a nightmare. I get it. Well, when he kicked the ball, Hurricane Helene had left the building. Okay. Or Hurricane
it wasn't
Milton.
it wasn't like it was a 52-yard field goal. It was not like it was a pretty typical kick.
I believe a 47 and a 42.
Okay. But the 42 he hits all day.
All day.
The 47, okay, I'll give you that. That's a long kick.
Well, I don't know.
42, he gets out of the car and hits a 42.
If you've earned the reputation, if you've earned the nickname Greg the Leg.
The leg.
All right.
You need to make these kicks.
Yeah. 47 is a chip shot for someone called the Leg.
And then, and look, and let's also, seven of those points that of the Jets 20 was the Hail Mary, which was cool to watch, fun to watch, but that is not a play we can rely on.
Well, according to the gazing couple, right?
The lovebirds,
they called it. They said just before we caught it, they both said, here comes the Hail Mary. And for some reason, Aaron Rodgers is the best at it. Because it just seems to work the best for him. And I went, okay. And then he caught it. We were, of course, jumping all over the place. So you're right, though. Those are, that's not really an offensive juggernaut when that's part of your
right. When that's part of the play. And then the other thing that drove me crazy were on both sides, both teams, penalty. I mean, very undisciplined, and that's why Saleh got fired. And I mean, no disrespect to Ulrich, you probably can't fix that in a week. but it was just as bad as it's
No,
been.
no, you can't. And my prediction, right, was they're going to come out enraged because the changes, positive, negative, doesn't matter. They're out there going, all right, we got some changes. We're going to go prove to the world that we're respected. You know, so
That did not happen, Gene.
so much for that. Because really, the offense. I mean the offense. I mean the defense has regressed.
A little, but I mean, look, the Bills are hurt, they're damaged, but you still held them to 23 points. That's, in the NFL, that's not a bad day for the defense. It's not a great day for the defense, but it was still put them in a position to win, and the offense
Yeah,
did not get it done. No red zone,
no,
no red zone
I
efforts. I
agree.
mean, really, just, it's an offense that does not work.
You know, just think about how hard it is now in the NFL to be a defensive back.
Yeah,
That's it's almost if they have a halfway decent line and the quarterback has an extra second and a half to throw the ball, you can't cover people.
right.
It's almost an impossibility. And again, everything is designed for more scoring, right?
Of course. Of
They say
course.
it's about protection, no, it's about scoring.
About score. It's about offense.
Yeah,
Well, our offense situation changed a little bit in the last few days.
I think it has. Yeah. Well, but all right. Can we still
Oh
stay
wait,
on
well,
the
you know
on
what?
the
Can we go back to one other thing about the Lovebirds? Is
yeah,
I did have to say that in the penalties, when there was that roughing the passer penalty against Rodgers where the guy fell on him and they said, oh, that was
yeah,
your body weight. I thought Aikman was the first guy to say, hey, that's not a penalty, and he's usually sticking up for the quarterbacks. But the second
yeah.
guy to say that it shouldn't have been a penalty was Aaron Rodgers. And
Yes,
I
on
and
his
I thought
interview,
that was
yes.
he's a stand-up guy for saying that because I agree.
Yeah.
It was when you're falling on someone, you cannot change the laws of physics. Gravity is gravity. There's nothing you can do.
Yes, you're right.
you know, he fell on the
Yeah.
guy. It's not like he drove him into the ground. He fell on him.
Yeah. Yep. 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 So, before the positive changes, with the penalties, that game is the most penalized yards in a game this season.
11,000 roughly penalty yards, something like a mile and a half.
Mile and a half. Oh, and how about this? How about this? You know, looking at the offense, I'm wondering, did they sign up for part-time blocking or is it a full-time job? Right?
They put,
Just
listen, I've done my
curious.
20 hours this week. I'm done blocking.
Yeah, I mean, used to listen to Bart Scott. I love listening to Bart Scott on after the games. He's just because I like the guy. And he's like, I knew when I stepped on the field, I knew I forgot what I think I have 300 hits in me.
Okay.
Interesting. Like he broke stuff down like that. Like, all right, and that's, again, how much punishment can your body take and how much repetitiveness, because everything they do is extreme, right? So how many blocks do these guys sign up? Like, do you have a registered number of blocks that they can attribute that to part-time or something? Like, just what's the deal?
Like a
Like, what's
pitch
the deal?
count. It
The
was
pitch
super. It
count?
was super uneven. It was really uneven. Some plays I thought they looked really good, and then some plays it was just like Swiss cheese offense.
Yeah, yeah, part-time blocking. Yeah, I don't get it. Like it's like I said, no blocking, but no part-time. Sometimes like, all right,
But you know what? If you look at the box score, it's not like Rodgers did not have a decent game. Brees Hall rushed for over 100 yards, so there were some blocking somewhere, just maybe not
you
at the
know,
right times.
and as much as I've been disappointed with Garrett Wilson this year, he actually had a decent game.
Yeah, he did have a good game, and I
Yeah,
mean, he's a threat.
yeah.
But
I
now,
think if he could do with one or two less jukes, just move forward, right? He's quick, he's fast. All right. Skip one or two extra jukes, and I think you'll get another yard or two, because he's forward, he's back, he's forward, he's back, he's sideways. It's like, all right. By the time you finish that, I mean, take the hit and go forward. You know, typical Jet fan. I don't think I could be pleased. Okay.
Right. Oh, you won the Super Bowl. You could have covered, you know.
You could have covered. Yeah. And another, of course, another delay of game. And just Rogers has there's no excuse for that.
The
This
fall
is,
starts and the delay of games, and then the ones that kill me are the personal fouls. That's just like that's grow up and be a professional and be an
Mhm.
adult and play. You can't afford those, and that's just kind of the dumb stuff that I don't want to invoke like Beetlejuice, but that's something that Bill Belichick would not stand for. If we say it three times, does he show up
I
at
know,
Orchard
that's
Park?
what it looks like. Hello.
But he wouldn't stand for that. I mean, the good coaches do not, your Andy Reeds and your Bill Belichick's and your Harbaughs, they don't stand for that. That's not professional. That doesn't happen.
And you're on the bench. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yep.
That's it. So
Yep.
it's
Yep.
just like that. And I just gotta think, yeah, Zerline should hit those shots, but if we had had half the penalties, if we had just half a mile of penalties instead of a whole mile of penalties, it would have been better. But
Absolutely.
things are changing at the
Absolutely.
Jets. How is Mr. Wilson, Mr. Lazard, their lives are going to change now. As Devante Adams is in the house.
He's in the house. I mean, yes, you know what? And this is one of those it's never going to happen kind of things, right?
Yeah.
And he's in.
And he's in.
He's
He's here.
in. He's in. He's in. So, I
And,
mean,
and why
I
and why
think it's
not? Why not? Because I mean, I think, that's a guy who's on a bad team.
mm,
He's on a bad team. He could come to this team who's struggling right now, but has the Jets are struggling, but they have talent. He could be the guy who turns it around.
yeah. Well, if nothing else, he's going to open things up for the league leading pass dropper, which is Lazard,
Yeah,
right? He does. He'll make some clutch plays, but he also drops a lot of stuff,
right,
right? And I think him being on the field is going to open up Garrett Wilson because really, if you think about it, who you focusing on
right,
doesn't matter.
right.
Whoever you shut down, the other guy's got an option.
Yeah. And you got to change your defense. You can't have the linebacker drop back into coverage and pick up one of those guys. Rogers tear him apart.
Yeah,
You've got to actually cover,
yeah,
put good people on those guys.
yeah.
And I think it's good news for the running game.
Well, I think you're right because typically, right, the running game is going to open up the passing game, but well, now the passing game is going to open up the running game.
Right. Because you've got to respect those guys out on the edges. You've got to.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so I think this is good news for everybody. And then maybe now here I am, glass half full Jets fan, as usual,
Mhm.
the Pollyanna Jets that I am. Does this make life easier for the offensive line? Because you can't, like you're not going to be able to do a safety blitz because you'll leave a guy open. You're not going to be able to, you're not going to be able to blitz as much, and you're going to have to send good guys out to cover. Does this make it easier for the offensive line?
I mean, it all points to yes, right?
A
It's
lot, a lot,
remain to be
a lot of
seen.
things with the Jets point to yes.
No kidding. So it's what it's exciting, and Jamie, my son, crazy fan, right? He was texting me. He's like, he's gonna play this weekend. He's already in the he's yeah, I'm like, yes, yes. So it's exciting. So I just hope it makes a difference. And you know who I think now they can just sit down is the new acquisition, Williams,
Oh, right.
the receiver. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's he doing? Like, when does a quarterback
Or you
like
put
in
him
the
in on the four, the four wide receiver set or something, you know.
right. And how about Aaron Rodgers throwing him under the bus? Typically a quarterback, yeah, I underthrew it. No, he ran the wrong route.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
All right.
and I kind of feel like Aaron Rodgers is usually stands up for his receivers, so that must have been really the wrong route. It was,
Yeah. And it's probably happened quite a bit that we didn't
right.
know about,
Yeah,
you
right.
know.
For him to say that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
That, that,
So
so yeah,
yeah, so it's exciting. We'll see. We'll
well,
see. We'll
and
see.
you know, right. All things point to yes. And I can't, but again, if, if they can get disciplined and stop getting false starts and stop
Mhm.
starting drives 1 and 15, first and 15,
Yeah.
that's going to make a big difference.
Yeah. 100%. I think it really does make a big difference. And again, if the offense is not moving, the defense is always going to be in a tough spot,
Right.
right? And you are starting, like you said, 1 and 15 or 2 and 15. Well, guess what? Well, now you just limited your play options, right? So it all. I mean, everything's part of the equation, unfortunately.
Yeah, and and I think it's really kind of funny. I think the Jets are a little bit old school right now. Is that even though you've got Aaron Rodgers back there and you've got these great wide receivers, I mean, I think we really need to think about the Jets as a running team. I think they're good when they're running, and the run sets up everything else.
Yeah, 100%. And they got the two horses. I still love that kid, Allen. I mean,
He's a
Hall is Hall.
beast.
We know what we got. But hey, how about it's easy for us to say Hall blitzing. He is running down the sideline. He's got that one safety coming over. I'm screaming. Why didn't he cut inside? Right? It's easy for us to say.
Easy for us to say.
He had to be gassed at that point.
Right.
Is probably what I'm thinking. He's not making any juke move that's going all out.
He was out of ideas by then.
Yeah. Well, and I said to Jamie, I was like, "This is going to be 3 points. They're not getting it." Typical.
But you know what though? You have a point there though. I think what the Jets lack right now is a killer instinct. They just don't have it. It's like that when
Yeah.
they get their foot on somebody's neck, they don't know how to squish down on it. They're not
Yeah.
delivering in the red zone. And I think that play you mentioned is a good example. I mean, there was not a killer instinct on that play. There's people are not smelling the end zone. And and look at Josh Allen of the Bills. I mean, that's a guy who he is a maniac. They are injured. They are hurt. The team is not working right now. And man, that guy he's an animal.
Yes. Absolutely. And you can't take anything away from him. He's going to try no matter what it takes. And to his detriment sometimes, he'll throw that interception. He'll make that
Right.
that dumb decision because he's determined to make a play.
Yeah,
And
he
I'd
is.
rather see that.
I agree. Yeah, me
Yeah.
too. And and the thing that worries me is like this is not the same Bills team we're going to see later in the season. You got to figure they're going to be healthy, they're going to be back, they're
So
going to be hitting on all cylinders. We got to make
yeah.
sure it's not the same Jets team when we see them later in the season.
I think the only thing they could do now is be better. That's that's the only thing they
That's
can
good.
do.
That's the pep talk from Gene. Okay, guys, be better on three. That'll do it. That'll do it.
1, 2, 3,
Fireman
pull.
Ed is out. You're in.
Well, speaking of firemen, on one of the Facebook, the one of the thousand Facebook um Jets pages, right? Fireman Ed popped up on one. He's like, "Listen, I don't know if anybody's noticed, but weird me, meaning Fireman Ed, the Jet Man, and there's another guy.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen the Jet Man, right? The
Yeah.
Jet Man is all yeah. So the three of them are the big guys. They kind of work in unison from wherever they're sitting, right? And Fireman is, of course, the leader. Did I happen to mention best chant in the NFL? Anyway, so when they get that started, right? They're on the big Trinitrons. He said the last few games, they're not being shown. He goes, "We're getting phased out, and we don't know why." He's like, "So we
Haven't
need
we already
because we
haven't
do
we
need
already
that."
been through this with Fireman Ed once? Didn't he quit
Well,
once?
he quit once because he had enough. He threw in the towel, right?
Well,
And
okay,
he's
I understand. There were some dark there were some dark seasons in there.
well. Hey, were you with us when we were in a pub in London and we
Yeah.
we uh we took the picture with Fireman Ed?
Yes. And he's more
Yeah,
intense in person than he is on television. He's 10 times more in person. God bless Fireman Ed. I love him to death. He's
yeah.
a lot. That's why I
He's a
think
lot.
I know why Mrs. Fireman Ed does not come to the games. Just get out of the house.
Yeah.
All right, are we ready to talk about next week?
Yeah.
Next week?
Well, before we get to next week, I just
Okay.
wanted to let you know, I think I'm on the cutting edge here.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Let's hear it.
Last week I brought up Talladega Nights when Pete Alonso said after he hit, after Lindor hit the grand slam, Pete Alonso said, I didn't even know my hands went up in the air at all. And then the Talladega Nights was, I don't know what to do with my hands. Well, so Woody Johnson,
Yes.
they interviewed Woody Johnson, and he said they asked him about what were you thinking or something to do with thinking, and he said, to quote Talladega Nights, "You're not a thinker, you're a driver." So,
Another
so,
Talladega Nights reference.
so Woody Johnson, the bazillion dollar CEO, brought up. And I told him, and he said Talladega Nights, and I told him, "You're not a thinker."
Okay, can I stick up for Woody Johnson for a minute? Because I think
I don't
sometimes
have a problem with
he
Johnson.
gets, I think a lot of people jump on him. All the guy does is open his checkbook and buy what they want. I mean, love or hate Aaron Rodgers, Woody Johnson paid for him. How many offensive lines has he bought? Devante Adams now on the Jets. I mean, he is investing to win. He is doing what people. I don't know what more the guy could do.
Right. Yeah. And I think you're right. He's right. He is. He has spent the money. He hasn't, he wasn't one of the wool palms. He's spent the money.
Yeah.
He's done it. You're right. And they all say the worst owner in NFL. I've heard that a bazillion times. Sure, maybe he meddled a little bit, but he didn't meddle like you know, like
Well, like a certain
the
owner who made himself the general manager.
that certain owner. Yes, I was trying to think of a reference to the Lovebirds back to him, but that wasn't working. It wasn't working. I'm not quick enough that way.
But look, if
So
you're
anyway,
if you're a fan, it's like what more could you want him to do? Salah wasn't getting it done. He stuck with him, for a decent amount of time, and then you know made the
yeah.
hard call to get rid of him.
Like I said last year, I forgot what game, but I was already screaming. He shouldn't even let him come out at halftime. That's it.
Yeah,
Just go.
and I like
Get it.
Salah, but I mean, I think
Yep.
he was certainly given a chance and given the tools
Yep.
to
Yep.
do it. So,
Peel
all right,
off, peel off a couple of hundos. Here, get a cab.
see you
Go.
later.
Yeah.
All right, next week. The Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh. Are you
I,
ready? Are you ready for what the Vegas line is on this game?
I didn't look at the Vegas line, but here's what I do know:
Yeah,
Pittsburgh Steelers are consistently just a your tough football team.
they're a tough football team.
Yeah, they are. It hasn't changed, and I don't see them pulling it off.
You don't see the Jets pulling it off.
No, I don't.
All right.
No, I see it
I
20. I see it 27-13.
Steelers.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, the
Yeah.
nice folks at Las Vegas see it a little differently than you do. They
Hmm.
are Jets by one.
Because of Lazard.
Well, because of Lazard, and I think the Steelers are, I just think they're very uneven right now. I think you just don't know what you're going to get on the team, and I think the Jets defense is going to be too much for the Steelers. I don't think the Steelers can put up 27 points on the Jets D. I really don't. I don't believe in the Steelers offense.
Okay. And that was just an emotional pick, but I have to stick with it.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go 24-17 Jets.
Would be nice and everybody will have the hopes that they're still in it.
Well, look, they got to quit. They got to quit losing the games they should win.
100%. We've covered that. We covered that in the last bunch of calls. A good team beats the ones they're supposed to beat, and then and an almost great or a better team finds a way to win the ones that are suspect, and then the great teams find the ways to win the ones they shouldn't win.
Yeah,
Right? That's it. They're not supposed to win.
And we should have won the
So,
Denver game. That should have been a trot for this team. Had an opportunity to win the Vikings game, and we
yep,
stole defeat from the jaws
yep.
of victory. And
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 our,
then and then
yeah,
really,
yeah.
the Bills, are the walking wounded. Should have won that game.
And Salah would still be here.
If they'd beaten Denver like they should have, yes, Salah would still be here. I agree with that 100%.
And I think if they didn't beat them, and then but if they would have pulled off the Viking win, I think he'd still be here.
Yeah, but even without, if they had won the Denver game, you could have went, yeah, all right, good valiant effort against the Vikings, good team. We didn't get it done. I would be okay with that. And in just looking at that game, I'm fine
Right.
with that. But it just on the heels of the Denver game, which was such a train wreck,
Mhm.
that was it.
Yeah.
I think that's the game that cost Salah his job was Denver, and then the Vikings.
Yeah, you're probably right.
That was just,
Yeah.
I think Woody
All
just
right.
had enough.
Yeah. Right. He was having meetings. He was having meetings prior to the game, prior to Minnesota game. Yeah. He
Right.
was putting his ducks in a row. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
So all right. So real quick, I know we're gonna run out of time, but where what's up with Reddick? What? I didn't let you make your prediction, but what? What's the deal?
You know what? I don't know. We could use him. He could be very
I think
helpful.
so. He's got no representation.
Okay.
Yeah, they got rid of it. I think no, his agents they walked on him.
Right. Oh, really? I
Yeah,
mean, he's a
and
nutcase, though, isn't he? Don't we know that?
he's got to be, and he's probably a disaster in the locker room. And that was my thing with Devante is like, is he going to be a pain in? He's going to be the wrong guy in the locker room. If he catches a lot of passes for touchdowns, okay, but what's that going to be like? Because when people are demanding trades, it's always kind of bugs me. There's always that,
Yeah.
that diva aspect of it, you know,
But
for lack of a better
but
word.
yeah, I guess
I
how
don't
many
really say the
divas
word,
does the team need?
yeah. And I use it, you won't hear the word diva come from me very often.
I don't know. I think the Aaron Rodgers of it all, it puts Devante Adams in a slot that he's got to be respectful of Rodgers, and he wants the ball.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I think there's room for him to be a hero and for Rodgers to be a hero. Now, Reddick,
Quick
what is
question.
what is Reddick doing? I mean, he's home doing sit-ups. That can't be good for his career. He needs to be playing.
Yeah, that's just stupid. I mean, that's just stupid.
But he
Make
doesn't
it while you
really,
can.
I mean, does
Get
he
back
want to
in
be
there.
in the Jets? Really?
Probably not. That's what he's holding out.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's hard to say, but anyway, I got a representation. Woody put out the plea. Hey, please come. We'll get you a new egg sandwich. We'll give you a gift. Come on over.
big sandwich.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's the thing, right? You're in Long Island or Jersey, you get an egg sandwich from the deli.
But I'm
Come on
I'm not
in.
I'm not losing any sleep over Reddick. I'm just not gonna because the defense has hung in there. The defense has given the offense opportunities to win the game. I mean, okay, so if you have Reddick in there, do you hold teams down by 3 more points? Like, I mean, what's the difference here? It's offense is the problem right now. It'd be great to
Yeah,
have Reddick, and certainly as an insurance policy for the, inevitable injury that's coming. But it's the offense. It's the offense.
yeah,
So if we can score 7 more points a game, that's winner. So
yeah.
Reddick can stay
So what's
home.
your prediction?
He can play Xbox. He can do whatever he wants. And if he wants to come
Yeah.
play, that'd be great.
So what is your prediction
All
so that
right.
we don't? Oh, you
24,
did. You told me. You did. Yeah.
24-17
Yeah.
Jets. So I will give you the 1 point. Hey, welcome everybody. Special segment for Third and Too Long, where we're going to bring another family member who has the same mental defect of being a Jets fan to come on and give us another prediction for the game. Because so far, the predictions that Gene and I have made for the Jets games have been wrong, pretty much universally. We've gotten close on the score, but we keep putting the score to the wrong team. So we got nothing. So welcome to my brother Dean. Welcome, Dean.
Thanks for having me. This will be a lot of fun. I'm with you. I don't really know how I got the curse, the Jets curse. I know both of my kids really have that curse as well, and they curse me for for giving it to them
for having the curse.
every time. Yes. But it's a good place to be. So,
Ah, well,
at least the color is green, which is a very soothing color because we need that.
there's nothing. I can't believe you just had used the word soothing and Jets in the same in the same concept there.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. There's nothing really soothing in there at all. It's just it's chaos all the way around, all the way from phasing out fireman Ed, all the way to not be able to get the ball across the end zone in the red zone last game. So yeah, there's nothing soothing going on other than the color of the jersey.
No, I would not want to be around Fireman Ed this week. I think he's a little tense. All right,
Yeah.
let's get
Yeah.
into it. So next week it's Pittsburgh, and I happen to have my lines in front of me. It's against Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh. Do you want, and I don't want to cloud your judgment. Do you want to know the Vegas line? Do you want to know what we picked? Or do you want to just give me your prediction?
Well, yeah. What's the Vegas line?
The Vegas
Let's do
line,
it.
you're going to be surprised. The Vegas line right now, as we sit here, is Jets by one.
By one.
By one.
Wow, that's
There's
close.
they don't have a
Okay.
lot of confidence in the Jets. They just have a little
They just
less
have it.
confidence in the Steelers.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. No, I like that. I am actually going Jets by 10
Jets by
this week.
10.
By 10, yeah. I think they're going to come out fired up after missing out this last game. They're going to get hopefully they get tightened up.
Missing out the
I
last
thought
game
they looked
and the
good.
last game and the last game. Those
Well,
games,
yeah,
all those games.
all those games. Yeah. I thought they looked better in the middle of the field. They moved the ball really well. I liked what they were calling offensive plays, mixing up some guys. Now, if they can just tighten it up a little bit on the penalties, and I think Pittsburgh is. I think they're going to play Russell Wilson. So, and I think that's gonna create a little havoc there.
Yeah. All right. Give me your score. You 10 points. Give me some numbers.
I don't think it's going to be a high scoring affair at all. So I'm going to do like, let's say, um, well, maybe let's say 10 for Pittsburgh,
10.
right?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to say we're going to keep them pretty low. And then if I give them 10 points, then it's going to be 20 for the Jets. But yeah, I might give them a little more.
You know what? I don't hate that. I don't hate that at all. I mean, okay, so far I've been right about no games, so don't go by me. But I've got Jets 24-17.
Okay. All right. So we're pretty close. Pretty
We're
close.
really pretty close there. And it's like, yeah, I mean, the Pittsburgh offense, I think is not good. And then yeah, if Russell Wilson comes out, no disrespect to Russell Wilson, but I think you think he's gonna have a tough afternoon.
Yeah, I think they're just looking for a spark. The thing that concerns me the most, I guess, about this game is Rodgers' inability to move. He doesn't really seem very mobile. He's almost like timid, maybe a little bit, like he doesn't want to
Almost like
run.
he's an old man
Well,
still playing a sport for young.
yeah, yeah. So I do worry about some of the pass rush abilities of Pittsburgh getting to him and forcing his hand a little bit. So,
I did see a
but
chart that I thought was really interesting, and it was how much time each NFL quarterback has on average. And the Jets were at the bottom, which was kind of watching the team. I feel like that Aaron Rodgers has so much more time than any Jets quarterback in the last 10 years, but there's still a lot of room to improve. It's still the worst in the league. So,
yeah, that's interesting. For all the time that they've spent on that, really trying to increase that line, for some reason, it's just not working.
it's better.
So it's better.
Anyway,
Rodgers he's played every game so far, so
That's true.
It's pretty good.
And he's taken some licks for sure.
Yeah.
All right, Dean, I got you down. You're Jets 20, Jets 10. All three of us picking Jets this weekend. Pretty close actually. Gene has no. You know what? I take it back. Gene picked Steelers, 27-13. So we're going to kick him off the podcast if he's right. I went with Jets 24-17. Your Jets 20-10. We will see what happens at Pittsburgh.
That's right. Yes. Excellent. All right. Okay.
All right.
And before we close, go Mets.
I just, you know what? I guess when I didn't get the Mets/Jets gene. I don't know why. But yeah, go Mets. Knock yourself out.
All right.
Hey, thanks, Dino.
Okay.
We'll see what happens after the game.
All right. See you. Bye.
A lot went on this week. Like I said, a very eventful week. And the Mets are tied the Dodgers. Okay. Very excited.
nice.
Back to win New York.
Very nice.
Very, very excited. Maybe we'll get another quote from somebody in reference to that.
Another Talladega Nights quote.
When Woody said that, I cracked up. I go, I gotta remember that.
And now you know what he's doing when he's not at work.
Right.
All right. Let's wrap up this episode of Third and Too Long.
We're in too long. You got it. All right.
JETS.
Talk to you next week.
See you next week.
Let's chant football.